Hey everybody, today's the day we're going to talk about what happened in 2022 with stock video and a few examples of what I sold in December. Hold on. Okay, first I thought it would be helpful to look at a few statistics. In 2022, I sold a total of $6,484 worth of stock video clips. The average month was $540. That's really good. I wanted to average $500 a month this year, and next year I'm looking at I hope to bring that up to maybe $700. In December, it was below average at $474.25. My highest month in 2022 was $772, and my lowest month was $215. So that's more than a $550 swing from highest to lowest, but otherwise it was pretty consistent. Here's what I'm looking at since I started this in 2018. In fact, let's look at that time range. If we go here to other and put in 2018, if we start with 2018, which is when I started on Blackbox, of course you can see that there's a constant up trend as we go. And that's normal because that just indicates that there's more and more clips every month. How do you be consistent this way? The best way for me that I found is to put specific time aside and make time for stock video creation. So what I do is put aside 10 hours a week to do that, and frankly, that helps me. It balances out the other things in my life: relationship, family, job, free time, and hobby. And so that's a good balance for me. But you may find that you can have more time or less time depending on the constraints you have in your life. So I found that if I'm consistent, then I'll put in clips and I'll consistently raise my income over time from stock video. What I have learned is that over time, in part because Blackbox has been successful, is that we're seeing more people involved in the industry, and that means that there's more clips there, and the quality. So you have to increase your quality, and you have to increase the quantity as time goes on if you're going to have regular stock sales. You also have to increase the diversity. You need a diverse portfolio in order to sell. All right. Here's some things interesting that I kept track of over the year. Now I'm going to give you percentages of clips, the types of clips that I shot. Now they don't add up to 100%. They go over, and that's because if I say, for example, there's an establishing shot and a drone shot, well, that could be the same shot. So they don't try to make it so that these equal 100%. There's also some things missing, like food preparation shots and so on. So establishing shots, about 27% of my sales were from establishing shots. That's pretty amazing considering I only just started doing that. I only just started focusing in that direction about 6-7 months ago. So that's really a lot of shots. That's really a lot of income for something that I only just realized was a good way to go. Drone, not surprisingly, about 33% of my shots are drone sales are drone shots. Again, and I've said this before, one of the quickest and best ways to get involved and to be successful at stock video is to get a drone. And there's many options out there, and we can talk about which drone is good in a future video. Wildlife/environmental, I put those together. Wildlife shots, for example, I like to do a lot of birds, eagles, deer, foxes, different things that are in my area that are available for me. I love those shots. They don't sell that much. I put them with environmental because to me it's similar in nature. That's 26% of my sales. Time lapses and hyperlapses. That contributed to 22% of my income in 2022. Clips with models, 14%. That would be higher. I just don't do that much of it. The models that I have are generally myself, my family members, some friends now and then. I don't go out and hire models and do that, but it's something that I may do in the future. And then editorial was 8%. These last two categories are low, but that's consistent with the types of clips that I put in. I do a little curation for Ivan Canabrava e Souza, who lives in Brazil. About 80% of his clips are editorial. And he sells, if you look at his sales totals, you would see 80% of his are editorial because that's what he's putting in. So I don't know how helpful that is, but I can tell you that establishing shots, drone, and environmental is the easiest and best way that I see to go forward, especially if you have that kind of access and capability and interest. If you're not interested in it, you're probably not going to do well at it. That's just because you won't pay attention, you won't be passionate about it. Without passion, what's the point of doing it? If I think there's a lot of opportunity to make money with models, I just think it's one of those things where you either have to decide what you're going to do and how you're going to do it, and do some good research. I have a video recently about researching that type of thing, and I think that's the way to go forward. Let's look at some of the clips that we're talking about. Okay, let's go back to, let's look at 2022, just 2022. Altogether, I have $17,569 in income. And to me, that's significant because that's what I use to buy camera, drone lenses, slider, and other equipment. To me, this is fun money. But someday it's going to be retirement money, and that's going to be pretty meaningful to add that to your retirement income. Let's go to the clips. There's 36 clips here, and we can see that I talked about environmental, and here's an example of environmental shot, in my opinion. These are solar panels on a home. And with a release, that's very helpful. This is a time lapse in the Mojave Desert. Also interesting that I'm selling more and more time lapses, in part because I really love time lapses. I like to do them. And also some of the people that I curate for. This one is done by Tristan in the Mojave Desert. And then I have a friend, Kaspers, in Latvia, and he does a lot of time lapses, and he's very, very good at it. Here we have one that's both an establishing shot and a time lapse, and that's why I say that the percentages don't add up, because this would be, for example, in two categories. Here's another establishing shot, and this would be both establishing shot and a drone shot. So that's why the statistics seem to not add up. This is a time lapse that I took when I was traveling for work in Amman, Jordan. When I'm traveling for work, I have very little time for stock video, which is a shame because I'm in some amazing places. So a lot of times I'll just do an establishing shot of the hotel that I'm staying in, or a street that we're on, or something like that, just because it's the only thing I have time for. Not included in my statistics were food preparation shots, and we always sell a couple of those a month. Here's another one here, and so you get an idea of the type of shots that sell. And of course, you need a release for the model. I think it's helpful to have a release, even if only her hands are showing. But maybe that's just me. Here's my friend Kaspers in Latvia. And I think this is right by his home, because he's got a lot of time lapses of this location, similar locations in farmland in the countryside in Latvia. And they're beautiful time lapses, and they sell often. Those are the trends I'm seeing for 2022. I think they're going to continue in 2023. I think the best way to make some stock video money is to do establishing shots and to do drone shots. I think that's the clearest and biggest trend that I see. Environmental shots are also, there's a lot of flooding this year. I think when you look at those types of things that are going on, there's always going to be some opportunity to sell those. Also look at places around your neighborhood, around your community, that would be good establishing shots. And sometimes I'm just taking shots of a street. I'm just taking shots of a neighborhood. I'm just taking shots of a new construction site. You would think that there's no opportunity for that. It's not a famous landmark. It's not anything special. But in reality, that in a way that helps you, because there's no one else in that market having access to those things or overlooking those things that you have an opportunity to film. And that's why I think that establishing shots and drone shots are the best way to go. I've also got this idea that maybe it'd be interesting to see what equipment that I'm using is generating sales. For example, most of the sales coming from a full frame camera, a cinema camera, a GoPro, a smartphone, a slider, drone, etc. I think that would be an interesting thing to look at, and I don't think it's hard to go back and for 2023 to start keep track of why certain equipment pays for itself, how fast it pays for itself. That might help you as you plan your stock video journey and also budget what you want to spend on equipment and what you don't want to spend on what equipment pays for itself and what equipment doesn't. So if you're interested in that, please put a note down below. I read everything, I respond to everything. Please like this video. That helps it get out to more people. I think the more people that we have that are working together, collaborating and sharing knowledge, that really helped me when I was getting started. It still helps me. And one thing that I've learned is if I can do this, anybody can do it. It's just a matter of having the determination to get the job done and to put the clips up and to take time in curating them. Thanks for watching. I hope this is helpful. Have a nice day.